I think it is something quite unique about that flat, is that there's a lot of hustle and bustle at that junction there on Queen Street and Frederick Street. But actually when you're in the flat, it feels quite calm and almost like it's a world away, but you're only like two or three floors down. But it feels very, very removed. But also you're able to enjoy it on your own terms if you want to. If you don't want to, step back and all you've got is expansive views. It's quite unusual. Aesthetic design comes from both ourselves but also the client. It has to represent them. It can't just be our view and our thought on the overall look. You know, that is designed in collaboration with the client. You know, some clients love color, and you know, color is splashed everywhere throughout, and you know, we react and allow that to flow and to allow that to sort of, you know, be expressed in the architecture. Whereas here it was a much more restrained palette, a sort of cohesive palette that is repeated throughout. The one clay plaster that's used on all the wall finishes, the Douglas fir as a timber species that's used throughout on all the new elements of wood, including the flooring. At Frederick Street, the hall is a particularly wonderful room in the house. I think it's evident that it is a room and functions as a room. It's not somewhere to pass through. It's somewhere that people do dwell and that activities do happen in. And I think it's kind of a wonderful space that is what all the other rooms access off of. And it has lots of really nice details to it. The sort of arched fan lights to the windows. The light that comes into it is really changeable. It's different at all times of the day, which is really nice. Especially in someone's home, a lot of it's about touch, and it's about where touch is important. So things like door handles, doors generally, the floor in a home when people don't tend to wear shoes. You know, they're all materials that are designed, you know, in terms of the senses, and you know, so the Douglas fir floor is a softwood, so it has a sort of nice feel to it. Underfloor heating makes that warm and makes it pleasant. All the door handles are solid brass. They have a weight to them. They don't feel lightweight. The biggest move probably in the functionality was moving uses around the rooms, and we moved the kitchen to one of the front north-facing rooms that has expansive views over Edinburgh and the new town, rather than having it sort of tucked away at the back, which for modern family life, the kitchen is a central part of that. It's no longer sort of tucked away and to be hidden. So functionality-wise, that was probably the biggest move. People really have to be custodians of these sorts of things. It can't just be a house you inhabit. So some Georgian houses you go and see, they're in pristine condition and they're perfect, and it's sort of, I guess the architect's hand there is to really delicately bring it really back to how it is and how it was. But then there's other properties like this one, which have had more of a troubled life, shall we say, and our job is now bringing them back to what they can be and interpreting what the details might have been. And there are small, sort of not always obvious improvements that one can make that do release those things and make them slightly more enjoyable on a day-to-day basis.